Okay, so now we're going to talk about something which is called an intersection. So an intersection, think of like a street intersection. You've got two streets and they intersect at some place. They kind of cross over. So we want to talk about what do you typically get when you intersect these different things? Well, 2 points cannot intersect because if they did, they would just be on top of each other. They'd be the same point, the same location in space. So there's not really an intersection of points. However, if I want to draw two lines and make them intersect, think for a moment. When you do that, okay, directly at the intersection, at the center of these two lines, what do we get? Well, we get a point, right? We get some location in space, some single location in space. So the intersection of two lines gives you a point. Okay, what about the intersection of two planes? Well, let's take a couple Post-it notes here. So I've got one I kind of rip in half so I can slide a different one into it. Okay, so now the intersection of two planes, what do you predict that intersection is going to look like? Okay, so it looks something like that. Okay, two planes, two flat sheets that are crossing over one another. Okay, what do we get? Well, you get basically, you can imagine this is kind of like maybe you're inside of a room and there's a floor and there's a wall. And what do you get where the floor meets the wall? Well, you get a straight line, a little crease right there. You get a straight line. Okay, so the intersection of two planes is a line. Okay, so it's kind of interesting. So as these geometric shapes go up in dimensions, as we go from a one-dimensional point to a two-dimensional line to a three-dimensional plane. Sorry, I think I said that backwards. Didn't say it backwards, said it off by one dimension. So a zero-dimensional point, no length, no width, no height, a zero-dimensional point. A one-dimensional line just goes in one direction, okay? Length, some length, one dimension. A two-dimensional plane, or if you want to go beyond that, we can talk about three-dimensional volumes, which is like, a ball or something occupies three dimensions, it has volume. All of these things, when they interact, they create objects from the lower dimension. Okay, so if you take a two-dimensional plane and intersection it with another two-dimensional plane, you get a one-dimensional line. If you take two of those one-dimensional lines, they intersect at a zero-dimensional point. Okay, this is kind of the general properties of intersection.